Hey guys, just wanted to do my reaction video to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Episode 13, the real Principia, I think is what it's called. If I'm butchering it, at least, my apologies. The title will be in the search tags or in the title of my reaction video. So this is the first episode coming off right off the 100th episode, in which, in episode 99, or season 5, episode 11, the Kree beacon that was rigged to blow by General Hale blew up all the monoliths that were in storage in the lighthouse, causing this chain reaction, which opened a rip to a fear dimension, which was basically used as a plot device to bring back previous antagonists from past seasons, including Lash and Hive, and a manifestation of Mike Peterson pre the Deathlock program, trying to convince Coulson that everything he's been throughout the course of this series was just a near-death experience from being stabbed by Loki and from the Avengers, and that he was there to bring him into the light, into the afterlife. But also this is the episode where J. August Richards reprised his role as Deathlock when Deke was sent to recruit him and other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. The former ended up coming to his rescue to stop him from being pulled into the fear dimension, and gave Coulson a chance to use a gravitonium device to close the rift into the fear dimension, even though it was only a temporary fix, and they need more gravitonium in order to close the rift permanently. But Deke was also sent on a mission to have the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who were in hiding attend as guests, as well as go and get like a wedding dress and wedding rings for the Fitzsimmons wedding. And an interesting note is that between a line of dialogue that Deke had with Deathlock about Simmons' ring being, looking a lot like his grandmother, Deke's grandmother's, and his mother's ring, and General Hale, who was searching the small town that part of the lighthouse was under, not getting a DNA match with Deke, obviously, because he's from the future, but getting a DNA match with Fitzsimmons, indicating that Deke is actually Fitzsimmons' grandkid from the future.
Starting with your father's abuse, and then torture at the hands of Mr. Ward, and then S.H.I.E.L.D.
I remember everything.
That's a start. But we need to drill. I never spoke about
6 weeks ago during our Tuesday session, it was raining. You always prop the window open with a pen. Your wife called and you answered after one ring. Tight leash, huh? You stepped outside to talk. The door's not as thick as you think. April had a fever, 103.2. All those kids at the parties, a lot of germs. You said you'd be home early. 513 Elm Drive, right?
You know where I live?
You should really be more careful. You never know what someone might do with that information. I told you. I remember everything. I'd like to...
What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm not part of the club. I'm sorry, I'll just go get my things and I'll go grab a cheeseburger.
Have a seat, Deke. I invited him. He's seen more gravitonium than any of us. He may have some insight that we don't.
Okay, so this is Quinn's gravitonium guy, Dr. Joseph Getty.
Also dead. We chased that lead.
Right, but here's where it gets interesting. All of Cybertech scientists are now dead within the past 2 years, and all of their death certificates were signed by one man, Murray Jacobson.
Well, so you think it's a cover-up? They're still alive?
Yeah, it smells like it, but this photo is all I could find on him.
You ran facial recognition?
I did, and I found his mug associated with multiple aliases, the most recent being Louis Castellino, a real estate agent in Baton Rouge.
We need to talk to him.
So, we're going outside. You heard him. Drop the gun.
Listen, Lady Cakes. I take orders from two people. No one and not you.
Candyman.
Mac Hammer? Well, I'll be damned. Do I owe you money?
Hey, it's probably the other way around, brother.
Ah, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Didn't see that one coming.
Okay. You guys ever hear of Project Paperclip?
Secret program to recruit Nazi scientists after World War II.
Yeah, and the exact same thing happened with Hydra. For those worthy of a second chance, it was my job to give new identities, new lives, erase the old ones.
So, you know where he is?
We need to talk to him, Tony.
Well, if the Mac Hammer's willing to break the rules, this has got to be bad.
Doomsday bad. Following the rules is no longer an option.
What happened? You okay?
I woke up. I forgot I didn't have arms.
Okay, let's just get you back up then.
Please, leave me alone. I just want to say, I want to be with Mac forever, and I want to have children with him.
And you will. This doesn't change anything.
Look at me.
This doesn't.
What I saw, what I heard, it's all happening. There's no future but the one we saw.
No, that's not true. Hey, we can change it. We will change it.
No. Nothing's gonna change it.
You're different, man.
One of them has the key to saving you.
You were hoping cybertech could solve more than two problems. I am not going to be the next John Garrett. The answer's no.
Okay, just hear me out for a second. Cybertech had a whole team of people whose only job was to keep Garrett alive. What if one of them could do the same for you?
Absolutely not. That's an order.
If there's a chance to save your life, why not try?
Because I already had one unnatural life extension and I don't want another. You both have to accept that.
Not gonna happen.
Not a chance. He was our shield when we needed it, and like it or not, we're gonna be his.
Ruby, right?
I don't remember you.
You hit your head on the kitchen counter. That's how you got it.
I remember the floor.
Black and white checkers. I was supposed to be watching you, so I got blamed. My father beat me in front of you. And your mother.
Listen, he had to work for him. They were threatening to kill his family.
I'm sorry.
I still regret everything I did for them. But I'm paying for my sins.
Saving the world will pay for them all.
Sonar doesn't pick up any deviations, so maybe they were hijacked by pirates.
He said it went down in a storm.
Do you ever consider he might be lying? He was Hydra.
Mac believes him. Keep looking.
Look at all that water.
I wanted to chemically lobotomize you, so I had you transferred.
Maybe that's what I wanted.
It's good to see you, Werner, after all these years.
It's Alex. Alex Braun. I don't want anything to do with my father or his name. Or Hydra.
Hydra. Such a boys' club. So much testosterone.
If you're not Hydra, why were you always visiting my father?
Oh, we had overlapping interests back then. But I hated his guts, if we're being honest. I can use you, Alex. I know what you can do because I've read your shield file. Your psych evaluation.
The steps you take don't need to be big. They just need to take you in the right direction.
You always used to say that.
You know, it's not
My
real.
mom said it to me.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that?
In the sky.
Our ships float and sink, they don't fly. I'm sorry, Deke, but those are space ships.
But what if the ship can fly? It was carrying gravitonium during a storm. If it got hit by lightning...
You've charged the gravitonium.
And generated a gravity field around the entire ship.
But my mother, she's a tyrant. Keeps me locked up here, makes me do things that I don't want to do. She's using me to get to you. Everything I did, ignoring you, letting you touch me, taking me hostage. That was all planned. The grand seduction of Werner von Strucker. Gain his trust by any means necessary. You made the right decision. She doesn't care about you or me. She only wants what's in your head. But whatever she's planning, it's not going to be any different than Hydra or S.H.I.E.L.D. Unless...
Unless what?
It doesn't have to be her team. It could be our team.
Is she playing him? By
Only
saying
she
she's
would
like
know
telling
until it
him the
was too
truth?
late.
I don't want to be a part of any team.
Her mom.
Hey, Mac Hammer. Can't touch this.
Now's not the time.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
Damn the time.
This is not the Mac I used to know.
Yourself up while you're trying to heal. Go slow. The steps you take don't need to be big. They just need to take you in the right direction. Oh, can we help you with something? What's wrong, Deke? Did you see another ghost from your past?
No, it wasn't a ghost.
Connections.
Arms.
Nice work. How did you convince him to stay?
I told him the truth.
Okay, so we know that the real Principia, the Principia is referring to the cargo ship which was carrying the gravitonium. And it was kind of cool that he was able to deduce that Deke was able to deduce from just his experience with the gravitonium, and he proved Coulson right by saying, oh, he had experienced more gravitonium than anybody, that he was able to like have this eureka moment after talking about that hallucination of his mother, that that he realized that the cargo ship they were looking for, when they didn't find any traces of it, with being hidden in midair, like it was like floating in midair, like among the clouds, and which is weird because you would think that, you know, among all like the weird crap that's happened since the Battle of New York and the Avengers, that a floating cargo ship defying gravity would be like at least under S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar, even when they rebuilt themselves into kind of like a smaller agency that was kind of under the government's jurisdiction, even before they're framed up by Ada and the Superior. But then again, of course, then you have General Hale, who was she says she's not a Hydra agent. She wasn't a Hydra agent, but she's been like a lot of times collaborating with them and saying it was like, oh, it was like testosterone. It was such a boys' club, but it was just like, and even had Chloe Bennett saying there were a bunch of like neo-Nazis, when it's like, yeah, I remember like having like people of color who were like members of it, including like, I think, like Muslim leaders who were like part of it. Like they were all had this like, who were victims of this whole like mass assassination by S.H.I.E.L.D. I think at the beginning of I think during like the mid-season premiere of like season 3 or season 4. I don't remember. And but yeah, I mean, I'm assuming she probably had to deal with some level of sexism, but it doesn't mean that she garners any kind of sympathy for because of the fact that she was former Hydra. And it's stuff like this that makes it feels like, even though it hasn't been confirmed, that you could tell the showrunners, Jed Whedon and his wife, like, kind of feel like this is probably going to be this show's not going to be picked up for another season. This is probably going to be their last season with the main villain being former Hydra, and bringing back Werner von Strucker and Carl Creel into the fold. I'm not even going to pretend I'm going to remember. I mean, I know that Grant Ward put him through hell when he recruited him into his cell of Hydra after his father was assassinated by Ultron in Avengers 2. But like, I'm not even pretend to remember that they were like why Shield used the memory machine on him, the same one they used on Coulson. Like what purpose that served. He was slightly in the dark about his father's work. I don't know. I mean, he apparently he has a history with General Hale and her daughter, enough that at first, when, like I said, when I thought that the daughter was saying, it's like, oh, I don't give a crap about my mother, she's a tyrant, we can like overthrow her and lead her own army. Her army doesn't have to be her army, it can be our army. And then it was that last shot when she said, like, oh, when she asked, like, oh, what did you do to get him back on our side? And she said, I told him the truth, which means she really is tired of her mother's bullshit and has plans to, usurp and kill her. And there really is going to be a power play between the two, which is pretty interesting. And trying to remember, God, the actor's name. Like Gary Busey's son playing Mac's old friend, who had actually talked about Project Paperclip and how all the people who worked under Ian Quinn and his project on the Deathlock project, he basically was responsible for signing their death certificates and giving them new lives and second chances, and basically to be recruited into the government, except this time to redeem themselves and not so much as the idiotic program that Peggy Carter recruited, or the Red Skull's right-handed man, in which he was able to rebuild Hydra into this Illuminati-like organization that led to the events of Captain America, and was a huge game changer for the MCU, but especially for this series in particular. And actually for the better, considering, it was harder to, pull off this whole group of ragtag misfits premise like in other Whedon projects, when they were part of what was originally like a super powerful organization with every resource at their disposal. And so the fact that the whole organization was crippled, and basically ever since like the last third of like season 1, that they basically been like a smaller smaller, less funded, made up of smaller personnel, like kind of gave it that whole like underdog feel to it. And the fact that maybe this whole Deathlock thing could maybe save Agent Coulson, but it seems like like they said, since the producers don't have any faith that this show's going to be renewed, it's almost like they're trying to make the whole thing come full circle with, Coulson living on borrowed time, being resurrected, and like you said, he wanted to come back, and people's lives. He didn't want to be greedy he didn't want to be greedy about it, especially he didn't want to rely on the Deathlock program to keep him alive, because he saw how how much it drove John Garrick off the deep end, how he's willing to kill others just for his own selfish purposes and survival reasons. So that's why he doesn't want to do it. But considering how much Coulson has put his life on the line for the rest of the cast, they're probably gonna try to return the favor. And of course, I liked Elena's arc, which was completely understandable. Whereas she's spending the first 10 episodes in the future, and the last one, interacting with her future self with her arms amputated, and even her future self realizing that it's oh, I've been in your place before. I thought this was an LMD or some kind of trick, and even if I'm telling you this now, I feel like this time loop played out. I remember this, all this happening, this time loop playing out just as it was. That even having her arms amputated and realizing it's oh, maybe the future really is set after all. But given that in the flashback from Robin Tinton, and given she still had arms when in the apocalyptic future where the Kree had taken over and the Earth had been destroyed in 2022, she still had arms. She still had apparently artificial arms, almost similar to Phil Coulson, and you can make sense why Mac was going out of his way to fight off those androids, was basically to make sure he can get artificial limbs to give to Elena, just like Coulson has. But it also makes you remember that General Harrow, former Hydra, which is also the reason why she was able to cover up the fact that a cargo ship that was defying gravity that wasn't even a blip on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar, even when they were active and not fugitives. And it also kind of makes me worry that if you would think maybe he should talk to Fitz about Fitz Simmons about making sure that they function and work, and they're able to help Elena for her benefit, and even though, and especially since General Hale is aware of S.H.I.E.L.D. going traveling, finding that ship, that it won't be Arrow episode 6. Season 6 episode 14, where it's any cybernetics and Diggle's arm was used to be tracked by a new Team Arrow that General Hale and her company won't use the tech in Elena's new arms to track them, but something tells me it's going to come back to bite them in the ass. And I like the whole reveal, that the whole saying about you don't have to take the steps you take don't have to be big, they just have to take you in the right direction, is what is something that Deke's mother used to say to him, and what he used to connect the dots and realize that he is the descendant of Fitzsimmons. When he's going to reveal that information to everybody, time will tell. But anyway, it's a pretty good episode. I like how it's gonna. At least we should get a better idea into General Hale's motivation, and how events from past seasons are starting to come full circle into this back half of this season. So, anyway, guys, how did you feel about the episode? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.